Yo, what's up? Got a few things I want to talk about. Pandemic, COVID, EDD reform, all that. So I'm gonna get right into things. It's been a while since I did anything like this. Like I say, I don't do too much of this stuff. Um, People know what it is, but sometimes things still need to be said. And on that note, we're gonna get right into it. First of all, get into this EDD shit. How they doing people, how the phone lines are rather. It's really hard to get through. EDD really needs to be reformed as far as the website, the scams, the money scams. Uh, they was giving, they wasn't checking out the references and basically giving free money to people in prison. And in retaliation of that shit, they made it hard for real people that actually needed it. Virtually impossible by the way the phone lines are set up, and it's hard to get to them and communicate with them, and figure out what's going on with your money and whatnots. That's some bullshit right there. Fortunately, I was out a little bit right before the pandemic, but the pandemic really changed everything as far as that shit, because here in California they shut a lot of shit down, which was the right thing to do in a way, because it wasn't about the money, it was about the safety of people. But at the same time, unless you was an essential worker or whatever, you couldn't make no money here. Fortunately, I got in a position where I got back to work right before that shit, and I was a delivery driver for a known company in the Bay Area during that time. So I was able to go to work and pay my bills. But some people, I was blessed, to get back at the time that I did, because I wasn't expected to be down at that point. But like everybody know in life, shit happens. So I was able to get back to work and shit like that, and I was considered an essential worker, so I was able to go to work every day and continue to provide for the family and shit like that. But a lot of people didn't have that luxury, or because they was in certain positions. Like the hardest hit industry was the restaurant people and shit like that. That shit was really unfortunate, and other businesses, because when that pandemic first hit, nobody was expecting this shit. Nobody expected this shit to last as long as it did. But, this shit is still going on, and, I'm going to get into the vaccinations in a little bit. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I am going to go there at some point. But, it's a lot of bullshit going on with unemployment, and they got these shitty ass attitudes and about, money that people are entitled to, and they're trying to clean up their shit, but they're doing a poor job of cleaning up their shit, and the whole shit needs reform more so than the police. Not saying that shit shouldn't happen either, because it's a lot of shit going on. What the situation is now currently. Another young guy got killed, because the officer mistaked gun for a taser. So, that shit is bullshit. But I'll probably talk about that on another video rather, if I get around to it, whatever. Like I said, I don't do too much of this, but it's been a long time, and some things need to be addressed. So here I am addressing it, and we're gonna talk about this shit, because a lot of this shit that's going on, whatever, is bullshit. Getting back to things, but the pandemic changed a lot of things, changed the way of life. We're still wearing face masks, and they're promoting this vaccination thing, which now I'm going to get to. Basically, everybody should know about Johnson & Johnson Uh, that one was currently pulled off the market. Not pulled off the market, but they temporarily stopped giving the vaccination because it was causing blood clots in women or whatever. They had 6 or 7 cases or whatever. Uh, but these are the same people that got sued for the talcum powder scandal years ago. You know, and you got a question in your mind: how are they sitting up making, a vaccination, and these are the same people that got caught years ago with the talcum powder scandal? And basically, I know right before my generation, it was a thing of, people used to put that on you to freshen up, but I never believed in that shit, so it wasn't something that I did or I picked up, but, a lot of people suffered from that shit because they was putting all kind of chemicals and bullshit in the baby powder, basically. So I wouldn't trust them motherfuckers with your money, and those are actual facts. But anyway, that's my thoughts about Johnson & Johnson vaccination. Um, yeah, but they talk about this social distancing and avoid gatherings or whatever. All right, that's something that I've been doing, been practicing. I don't socialize with too many people, don't have too many friends. If I'm around people, it's my friends or family. That's it, that's all. I don't hang out at parties because shit, it's like, it's a lot of bullshit that goes along with that shit. And you have to, you have to protect yourself at all costs. And, there's things that go on with territory. A lot of people disappointed, whatever. And, it's like, you go hanging out with people and people want to bring the drama, and it's like there's shit that goes along with that shit, and it's just not something that I want to be a part of. So it's kind of one of those things for me. But like I said, you know um basically jumping back into this EDD and the government thing and how they failed us, from getting out the stimulus checks, and from uh, the race riots and the wars, and police brutality. This government has failed us. Uh, it's like they failed us from top to bottom. From not knowing what to do with this pandemic to creating this bullshit ass vaccination, and it's giving people a false sense of security that things are going back to normal. What you have to understand, things will never go back to normal after this. At some point we will get close to where we were, but as far as this virus and this pandemic, this is the current life situation. And the only reason why I don't have a mask on, because I'm in my house and I'm in my element, I'm in my room. I'm like, otherwise I have a mask on right now. And I was one of them people that believe, well, like other shit, this too shall pass. But unlike the other things that we went through in history, and it's never been anything quite like this in recent history. I'm like, and your government's answer is to take a shot in the arm. I'm like, for what and for who? I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. I just ain't. It's like, if I was in a different situation where I worked around a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, I do work around people, but I'm not close to people in close proximity. Maybe if I was a teacher or a bus driver or something like that, I would look at this differently, because those people, and props out to the grocery workers that had to put up with all this bullshit, and they was kind of acting like ass too, but it's like, and it's kind of a thing where I can understand it, because in the beginning, it was a lot of lines, to get in the store, toilet paper shortage. You couldn't even, find toilet paper in the daytime with a flashlight. For a long time, is store the sanitizers, you couldn't find that shit, none of that shit. People was buying that shit up in bulk volume. I'm like, because people was afraid and scared. If you gonna have me in my house, well, at least I need to have what I need. But at the same time, you had people on. You had that shit going on too, and the pandemic rather, where it was a lot of price gouging on certain shit because of the supply and demand. I'm like, what it is. It's like it's a lot of bullshit, and you got lawsuits going around for that shit now too. These different stores that raise the prices ridiculously on certain shit above what they determine is legal, whatever that number is. But it was a lot of bullshit going on, and it still is a lot of bullshit going on. And what I want to say to people is, don't get your hopes up too high about these vaccines, because they already talking about, all right, shit, after you take the 2 or the couple of shots, or if it's Johnson & Johnson, God forbid I wouldn't touch that shit. But it's like they got the 1-shot deal. Moderna got 2 shots, and Pfizer got 2 shots. Now they talk about you gonna have to take booster shot after that. I'm like, what is it? I'm like, if you gonna make some shit, make it permanent. But this shit is all for profit. You gotta read between the lines. That's what's going on. And in a nutshell, I touched on a few things, and I'm finna make my way out of here. Never put yourself in a precarious situation. Never sit up there and depend on the government for your wants and needs and desires. It's unfortunate what has happened as far as the pandemic. Because shit, nobody was expecting this shit, and you shut down the people's livelihood, and the government really don't have a whole lot of answers for you, so you got to make it pave your own way. And on that note, I'm out.